Welcome back, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're all happy and healthy. Appreciate you all. I don't know if that transition happened correctly. I don't know because I screwed up the last time with the redirect. I don't know if this one was redirected appropriately, but it looks like you're all here. Thank you for spending the day with me, guys. 2-2, the final game, the final result. Lots to discuss. I mean, we're going to get the stats up. We have to look at the stats right now. In a moment, I'm going to be putting into the chat the link so people can come on. Depending on how many people want to come on, I might do it like one at a time or two at a time or something, get everyone's views, and then move you guys on. If you do come on, cameras on and no swearing. And keep your answers short so we can get everyone's takes and keep the conversation moving and flowing. Let's get the let's get the football score, the sofa score app up right now and see exactly what we're looking at for the overall game. In fact, whilst I'm doing that, I want to get this up, but whilst I'm doing that, let me get the link for you. If you want to come on, as I say, the rules are very simple. You cameras on, don't swear, be nice, and keep your answers quick so we can get everyone in. There's the link, guys. There is the link. And I will see you in a second. 360 people here. The rules are also make sure that you smash the like button when you come in, like taking your shoes off, so to speak. Hit the subscribe on the channel if you haven't already. And let's get straight into a lot of people joining straight away. Bang, 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 bang. I'll bring these guys in. Let's get them going. Soren, Kieran, welcome to the house. How you doing?
Good.
Go on then. Initial thoughts.
All right.
Let me get these stats over here. Can I see what's going on? Here we go. Soren, mate, welcome, mate. We'll go through the stats in a minute. Before we look at the stats, in fact, let me take it away. I don't want the stats to infect your opinion. I want to know your opinion subjectively on the eye test. Welcome, Kieran, as well. Soren, start with you. 2-2 away, opening day at Brentford. I think a result we would have all taken.
Plenty of positives. How good was Basuma? Basuma was magical all the way through. I don't think there were really that many negatives. Son was a little bit quiet. Kulu wasn't the best. But I thought it was quite positive. You could see the second half seemed to slow down a little bit, but we were against the team that, put all the players defending, tried to take us on the break. I think there's only positives out of that. Anybody that comes up with negatives, then, there will be some negatives, obviously, but it was a decent performance.
I got one negative for you.
Go on then.
The referee, I thought, had a.
Oh yeah. But I'm talking about the team.
Well, I'd say if I'm entirely honest, not because of the goals. Again, I don't think he was responsible for the goals, but Vicario to me is a nervous wreck and makes me feel like a nervous wreck.
I'll tell you what I thought with him, that he looks quite decent with the ball at his feet, which obviously Hugo was terrible at. I thought he made one or two decent things. He seems to be, quite communicative. It's still early days. Yeah, I don't think you can blame him for either goal. You can't blame him for the penalty, obviously, which was very soft. But yeah, he's not the worst goalkeeper we've had. I think he just needs a bit more time. But another positive for Udogie and Van de Ven. How good were they as well? They look quite. Udogie was brilliant, or Udogie, whatever we want to call him. I thought he had a really solid game. Van de Ven, you could see the pace on him. First game, not had a lot of chances to play with us. Looked quite good. How good was Emerson? Jesus, is he going to be useless again? I've already been told that it was a missed kick. So
from who?
From somebody on Twitter. A couple of
sorry. What was the missed kick?
The Royal goal.
Oh no, Royale! I thought Royale was brilliant today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think he had the second most time. We're going to go through the individuals in a minute. I thought he was in the first half. I thought he was asked to play. He was asked to play narrow the entire time. To me, he came across like a double pivot number 6, if I'm honest, when we had the ball. And then when we didn't, he was getting back to a right back. But if you're going to be asked to do that, then there's going to be consequences. And against Rico Henry, who for me is one of the best left backs in the league, then you're going to have that space. You're going to offer opportunities, especially with Wissa and Bemo, who, by the way, I thought were spectacular today as well on the counter. I thought Emerson Royale was brilliant. I haven't put in you know what? I should actually do it. Sorry, stay there, mate. I'm going to come to Kieran for your initial thoughts. Then we're going to get into the stats and we're going to talk about players. And obviously, like I say, guys, the link is in the chat. If you do want to join, then come in, but make sure your camera's on. But also smash the like button for me on the video. Smash the subscribe. If you do want to join the conversation, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button. You'll have immediate access. And Kieran, just before I do, mate, there's a quick super chat that I want to say. I want to give the shout out to, which is from Chankle. Big up, Chankle. I love your name. Yeah, you can see why they call him Venom. Powerful but insane. You like it. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it, if I'm honest. I don't like it. I'm really worried. I'm not making my mind up on him, but like, you can go on the sample size, and we'll talk about him more specifically. But big up, Jank. Really appreciate the super chat. Thank you, my man. Kieran, welcome to the show, buddy. Yeah, sorry about earlier, mate. I thought you were coming on at 1, not you had to go by 1. I didn't read your message properly. Sorry, buddy.
It's all right, mate.
What were your thoughts on
Just echo what Simon said. Basuma was unreal. I don't think he looked so cool, so calm. He looked amazing. I think Destiny and Adobe as well. He played out of his skin. Sonny for me was a bit, I don't know. I definitely think they made it tough for him, putting 2 on him at all times. I think Richarlison struggled with his first touch. It didn't quite work for him, a few things. I think Maddison played really well. Royale had a blinding game. I think Van der Ven, he showed that he will definitely be one major upgrade to our squad. I think the keeper as well, he just needs time, and hopefully he'll settle into the Premier League. I think today will be a big takeaway for him. I think he'll take something away from this game. I think people are quick to jump on him and give the guy some time, because we all remember David De Gea's first season. It was a nightmare. So give the bloke some time. But honestly, I'd have liked the win, obviously, but for the amount of possession we had, I think we should have had the win. I don't think you can have that much possession and not. I know it's hard because they play a back 5 and it is a very disciplined, hard-working 5. But I don't know. I can't help feel that we needed to win there.
Overall, we had 69. Can you guys see the stats on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah, just
69% possession overall. In the first half, it was 66 to 34. In the second half, 73% possession to 27%. I mean, I'm just going to call out. We'll call out. I mean, we'll start at the second half because I thought the second half was brilliant. Total shots: 10 from us, 4 from them, 2 versus 4 on target, 1 versus 3. Block shots: 1 versus 3. 5 corners, 0 for Brentford. No offsides. 1 yellow card. Big chances missed in the second half. That was the big one, I guess. And Bremo missing that one. It could have made it 3-2 early in the second half. We'll get into the more specific stuff in a second. Let me.
I definitely think we handled their pace well.
Sorry, mate. Say that again.
I think we handled their pace very well today. I don't think that was I think there was only 1 or 2 times that their pace really caused us an issue. But yeah, like I say, I think we handled it well.
Oh, hang on a second. What's happened there? I've just lost everybody. How do I go back to? There we go. I'm going to get rid of that. Mia, can you turn your camera on, please? There you go. How you doing, Mia? You're right. Dan, nice to meet you, mate. How you guys doing?
Hey, mate. Hey, I'm an Aussie supporting Ange. Watched the whole match. Loving everything. Yes, there's some mistakes and early nerves, but overall, I think we can look positive. It's a good sign that Ange is playing our team the way he wants. Couple errors at the back, but I think we'll be fine. Just a quick overview. We need better attackers. That's all I could say.
Yeah, well, let's start with that. I'll stay with you, Dan. Let's work in reverse chronological order. Let's start with Richarlison, seeing as you brought it up. I've spent a lot of the time this summer. You know, most people who watch my channel know that I've got zero love, or I love the guy, love the person, don't love the player. I think he offers very little, and I think I've made it clear that I think this potential system could potentially suit him. But today and most of pre-season, I haven't seen him really step up. Dan, I'll stay with you. Yep. Richarlison today, your thoughts?
Honestly, I just don't think he had a chance to get the ball. Every time Matters tried, the Brentford team were just cutting him out and wiping out the chances. The chance he did have was a great chance near the end there where the keeper saved it. But what can you expect when the defence is all up the back? We can only get so much ball to him. So I think we have to play out wide a bit more and then come in. But again, with a defence like Brentford, I mean, you're asking a lot, but I think Richarlison will get better. I think he's more of a play in behind the defence kind of attacker, which he couldn't do because of the defensive structure, which Ange Ball is always about getting out wide and then going in and going hard, and attack. They just couldn't capitalise on it, really. But Mickey van der Ven, he's amazing. Where has this defender been this whole freaking season, right? Like, no errors at all.
Hold on for him, mate. I'd like to go through every player individually. We'll get to the back line in the last.
Oh, yeah, sorry, bro. Yep.
Yeah,
Son, I think he needs to play more.
Hang on, Dan, 1 second, mate. So what we're going to do, we're going to go around the players. I'm going to go around the houses, right? So I'm going to come to Mia. Welcome, Mia. Just stay there, Dan, right? We're going to...
all good, man. All good.
Yeah. Mia, welcome, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
What is your overall take on the game? Do you think we deserve the 3 points?
I think in that second half, yeah, because I feel like that second half we were so much better. The first half just felt like a bit of a mess. Like, we seemed to just be all over the place. We were a bit nervous. We were a bit jittery. It just didn't seem as fluid. But in that second half, we just seemed to really get into our flow a little bit more. And yeah, if we would have got the 3 points, I would have been happy, because they got a deflected goal that was a bit lucky. They got a penalty that wasn't actually a penalty. So if we would have won, I would have been thinking,
You don't think it was a penalty?
No, I think it was really soft to give as a pen. I think it was a really soft pen. Okay, yeah, they'd give it, but I think it is a bit soft, personally.
Interesting. I thought it was a stone wall. Soren, do you agree? Was it a pen or not?
I think it was soft. I mean, if you watched it, a couple of minutes after that, there was a very similar tackle, I think, on Maddison, and referee just waved it on. So
the ref had a stinker for me. Like, I think he was.
Yeah.
In terms of the
not going to talk about the ref.
Yeah, we'll talk about the ref in a minute for sure.
It's one of those, Sean, that if it had been one of our players, would have been screaming for a penalty. So
yeah.
I
would have been furious if that wasn't given and it was down the other end. I would have been absolutely furious.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, I do get that. But what I'm trying to say is that, with that said, if we would have got the 3 points, I would have felt like we did deserve it, especially in that second half, because I feel like that second half we were so much better. Outstanding players for me: Maddison, Basuma, and Destiny. They were all really, really good today, I thought. Son was a bit missing. Richie went a bit missing. Kulu was all right. Perisic looked a bit like not great when he come on. He had a few little times that it was all right, but I think they're probably my 3 players that I would say played the best.
Yeah, actually, I need to put up a poll. I'll come across to you, Kieran. Who were your man of the match? So I've got 4. I need to get 4 man of the matches. I'll put into the chat. Who were your 4, Kieran?
Basuma, Van der Ven, and Dogi, and Royale.
Okay, so Basuma. Anyone else? Basuma, Van der Ven, Royale, and Udogie.
Yeah.
Anybody want to challenge that?
Madison was really good.
Yeah, I would. A little bit different. Maddison, Van der Ven, Vicario, and Udogie, and I think that's about it. Yeah, from my opinion.
Hang on, what?
Vicario.
Yes, Vicario. Yep, for his first game. I mean, yeah. What else could you expect from him? I mean, yeah. I just don't understand the hate. I think he did a pretty good job of keeping the ball out. He couldn't do much about a penalty, and the other one wasn't his fault. So I think he kept us in the game.
Do you know what I would say?
I don't think he had a nightmare, Dan, but he's not one of the best.
No, of course not.
No. Come on.
No. I understand, but as a defensive side of the game, I think he he was
don't-
up there, I think.
I don't know. He's done a few things that I was getting a bit edgy with, like a couple of those things that he did. I was a
Yeah,
bit like,
he's the
"Ooh,
nerve
what you
wrecker for
doing?"
sure.
Like,
But
if
I mean,
you're going to say Vicario, then surely Sanchez, because Sanchez had a better game than Vicario. So, I mean,
oh, well, what
yeah,
are we
you're not
doing
wrong
here,
there.
lad?
I mean,
Come
Right,
on.
so are we all agreed?
maybe it's because I live in Australia and everything's backwards. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I thought Vicario was okay, but
the upside
yeah.
down opinions. Hang on, Basuma. So we go Basuma, Udogie, Royale, and then the fourth, Van de Ven or Maddison. Anyone else? I don't think so. It's one of those. Well, I don't think Van de Ven was man of the match performance. I think, but I don't know if Maddison did enough to get it either.
he did first.
Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Who am I missing in the comments? Let me tell me. Sanchez was solid. People are saying Maddison. All right, I'm going to put I'll stick Maddison in there. I'll put Maddison in there and let the comments decide. Hang on a second, Maddison. All right, you lot in the comments. You decide who was the man of the match, and also I need you guys to do me some favors. I need you to smash the like button for me on the video, like you always do. I need you to smash the subscribe button for me as well, and also get over.
We can't bring up the player ratings at all, like to help decide better.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. Do that right now. Hold up a minute. So we've got the here's the player ratings.
Nice. Yep.
According to
that's pretty good.
Where's the Tottenham subs? Oh, let me actually, before we get into it, let's talk about Sonny and Perisic, because I thought
that's part of the attack.
I thought, because we started with attack. We started with Richarlison. I personally think Richarlison. I agree with you, Dan, when you say that Richarlison needs to run in behind. I personally think he will fit better against teams that are maybe top 4 candidates who play with higher lines, who want to attack us. I feel like Richarlison will have better success. But for me, I thought he was ineffectual in the first half. And I thought in the second half, I think he couldn't have done much better with the chance he was given.
No, that's just their defensive structure. He couldn't really get a ball to him. I mean, every time you tried, they pounce you. So, yeah.
With Sonny, though, I got to be honest, I was expecting better from Sonny being captain. I'm looking at Sonny should play centrally, says Rohit. Sonny didn't take any...
He spent too much time with the ball on the wing, and he needed a cross more. I think from Sonny, he tocked the ball. He wasted time too much trying to dribble, in my opinion, instead of passing it towards goal or something, anything in the box. Make a move, because they wouldn't move, that stubborn defense, man.
Yeah, well, they were very stubborn. Kieran, what's your take on Sonny, mate? Do you? He came off and Perisic was worse, which I think says something. I think Perisic was terrible, but I think Sonny was had a shocker as well. He didn't have a shocker. I just think he was limited by. I think every time he got the ball, he was doubled up on by.
That was defensive. So.
There was definitely a few chances in the second half where he could have ran at the defender, but instead he's cut back and passed it backwards. It was very negative from him, and I think. Obviously, people have their opinions about Sonny playing through the middle, but I don't think he's got a good enough first touch. I think he'd have struggled worse than Richarlison did. I think Sonny is suited to be running at players and in behind players. He couldn't play through the middle today. He'd have struggled massively, worse than Richarlison did. But I definitely think at 60 minutes, the game was calling for someone like Solomon, who doesn't seem to have a fear. He'll just take people on.
Yeah, where was that substitution? Sorry to interrupt. Where was that substitution for the right winger, Dejan Kulusevski? Where was Solomon, man? Like, he's so much better. I don't know what happened to him. Was it because they had the emergency Romero sub and they didn't have enough subs left or something?
No, it wasn't that. I think that the back line of Brentford are ridiculously strong.
Yeah, probably would have made a difference.
Back and do that press in the second half. You need someone who can compete with their strength, and Solomon is the opposite. Solomon will be the perfect player for certain situations. I don't think he would be for today. So I support keeping.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, no worries. Yep.
I just think Solomon would have offered a bit more twisty-turny, trying to take people on. I just think he'd have done a lot better than Perisic did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Solo on the left is always good. So,
yeah, Soren, Sonny for you.
I think he was quiet. But again, echoing what everybody else has said, it was very congested in the middle of that pitch. So, Richie didn't have a lot of chances. At least the chance he had was on target. Sonny, he did a lot of running around in the first half, a lot of closing down, but not a lot with the ball. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough season for him. Some games are going to suit him. Some games like that are not going to suit him. He's certainly better on the break, is Sonny. Whether he's going to be able to fit that, those really congested sort of penalty boxes, I don't know. It's one of those. I think it's going to be hard now as well. Now we've made him captain, to sort of start dropping him. I would like to see Solomon play back there, just to see what he can do. And yeah, like somebody else said, Perisic was poor when he came on, didn't really do much more. But whether that just shows how hard it was for Sonny as well, maybe.
Yeah, mate. Tough game, mate. That Brentford back line is ridiculous, and they doubled up on Sonny. I'm not actually going to be particularly harsh on him today. I feel like I was harsh on him during the game, but as the game was moving on, I thought he was better in the second half, and I think he did win a few of those duels in the second half. But ultimately, credit where it's due. The Brentford setup, the structure of their defence today was every time they moved forward, when they lost the ball, they got back to that bank of 5 and that 3 or 4 in front. And Sonny had 2 men on him, so you can't. He's not Superman, is he? You can only do what you can do. And like I say, I think Perisic.
Well, the thing is, we've got to think of Sean. That's probably a game last year we'd have lost.
Yeah,
that's the difference. We looked like we could score again. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of positives in that game. That it maybe wasn't a perfect, polished game. Let's remember our pre-season hasn't been the perfect one. So I think there's only there's so many positives to come out of that game.
Yeah, one of the positives.
There was a little moment with Sonny in the box where he shot it down left, bottom left, and the keeper got an amazing save off. That was a good moment. He almost scored, but other than that, he didn't have a lot of moments. Most of it was just losing the ball or not crossing and stuff. So, yeah. Again, I don't know. Would Perisic have done more, or would Solomon have done more with a defensive structure like that? Again, it's hard to say. Need more games.
Let's move on. Welcome to the show, Eugene. Mate, listen, I'm going to have to move a couple of people out. There's a couple of people that want to come in. Dan, mate, I want to say massive thank you for you to come on, buddy.
No worries, guys.
Great shout, mate.
Love your stream. Love you guys. Take it easy, eh?
Appreciate you, mate. Nice one, buddy.
Up the Spurs.
Cheers, mate. I've got Soren and Kieran staying with me for the game because they were supposed to come on in the pre-match and I screwed up, so they're staying with me for the after show. But everybody else, we're gonna kind of rotate. So Kate and Adrian in the background, bear with me. I'm gonna get some more talking time out of Mia and out of Eugene, and then we're gonna move. I'm gonna rotate. Mia, I'll come to you first on the next one, then I'll come to Eugene. James Maddison, 8.2 according to SofaScore. What were your thoughts on his performance, mate?
Yeah, I thought he did really well. I thought that he was trying to get those balls through to people. He was doing trying to do clever little tricks and stuff. I thought he played really well, actually. I was impressed for his first game. He got, what was it? It was both assists were from him, weren't they? Was it, or one assist was his?
2.
I can't. 2. Yeah, both was it. Both assists. I thought so. Were his. So yeah, Matt, I thought he played really well. I was really impressed. I thought that he really did try, like I say, and do those little clever tricks and stuff to try and get the ball to people. Well, there was one of the balls, he threaded it right through, like in a really tight little space and that. I thought he did well. I was impressed with him. I thought he did good today.
Yeah, personally, I thought he struggled in the first sort of 25 minutes, and then as the game grew, he got much better.
But do you know what, Sean? I feel like the whole team struggled in the first 20 minutes. Like I say, we was just a bit all over the shop in that first half. And those first 20 minutes, it was a bit of a mess. But let's be honest, we looked really nervous. So I can't really blame him for that because I felt like the whole team were like that in the first 20 minutes.
No, I agree. I just think that the Brentford defence was like a brick wall. and Tottenham were
Yeah.
expecting to break it down, and we couldn't. And people like we'll come to Decky in a minute, but there was a lot of this like we're just going to pass to the right, then we're going to they're going to look up and see nowhere to go, turn around, pass it back, and go around the other side again. It felt a little bit reminiscent of a lot of the times we had the ball last year. Eugene, welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
All right, thanks for having me on, Sean. I'm doing well. Just watching that game, right? But to me, is that I think I see this game as more like our extended preseason, right? We didn't get much of a preseason coming in, right? So as for the score, I guess it would be considered fair, but I think like what all of us were saying, right? Where was Lo Celso in along the game? Why didn't we change up, bring in Solomon? And I think Sonny has been played in the wrong position. Not much production from him from that, him hugging that wing part, right? And every time when he got the ball, like all you guys said, he was double team, triple team. He didn't get a chance to even get across many. How many crosses did he get in, Sean? I don't think even more than 5.
Who's
right?
this? Sonny got. I remember he put in a really good one in the first half. There was no one at the end of it.
Not more than 5 crosses coming in. The first half,
two crosses, zero
completions. So I guess the first half was a bit better for us, even though we conceded the goals. Of course, we have Madison there. He's the creative spark and all that, right? Udoji, the young boy, has impressed me a lot because in his way that he carries the ball, right? It brings the energy going forward, and also he tracks back to defend. That's one thing that I think Ange needs, right? But at the moment, I can't judge this team too much because, like, I was watching your show earlier, right, Sean? You were saying there's still the window hasn't closed yet. We still need to get rid of Deadwood, and we still need to improve. So I guess this is a good marker, right, for us to see where actually this squad stands, right? And of course, Romero with that weird concussion protocol removal.
What was that about, mate?
What was that about?
I couldn't hear the commentary, so I don't know. Was that a forced substitution by the doctor?
I think he had. Remember, he had the knock, right? And then after that, he came back on 30 seconds after, and then he had the header for the goal. And I think it was a medical team decision. And Ange was keep telling him, "You have to come off. You have to come off."
If you saw it when he scored, he looked very dazed. He looked
that's right. So that's when I think I think when the doctors, the medical team saw that, I think that's when they decided that he has to come off and get more tests on him. But I guess that is going to happen more or less frequently nowadays because of all the head injuries that players get, right? So I guess it's a good thing, right? It protects the player, but you should see Romero, right? When he was on in the bench, he threw his. I don't know why he threw down a lot of things onto the floor.
He threw down a towel, I think, and then stomped off down the tunnel because he had to go and get checked. But they have to check them. They can't allow them to carry on playing if they think there's a problem, especially like with a head injury, man. It's too dangerous.
But I think maybe sooner or later, the FA the FIFA international rules might have to make a change, right? Maybe you are entitled to some kind of concussion sub while you take that guy off for a proper checkup. You're allowed to put in one substitute to replace him while he plays. So I guess it disrupts the team's harmony or blah, 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 whatever. But Ange ball, I didn't see Ange ball today. Honestly, there was no Ange ball. For maybe, I don't know. Maybe,
it was high possession. It was the high press, the high possession.
Hang
on, Eugene, wait. To go away to Brentford, outside of going to Old Trafford, to Manchester City, to Arsenal, to Anfield, and probably St. James's Park, I would argue that most teams would maybe not Tottenham, but most teams would rather go to Stamford Bridge than go to Brentford. And to go to Brentford and have 70% possession, 68% possession, that is handball, bro.
But Sean, I understand, but didn't you see the game? Brentford sat back.
Yeah, but that's what most teams are going to do, and like that's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, and the thing is that, and when we consider the goals, it's just one ball over the top, and we just crumble. Everything falls apart after that.
Well, that's Ange ball. That is Ange ball. Now it's a high line.
That's the scary Ange ball that we are going to look at, right? So
it's going to be terrifying. It's going to be terrifying.
Imagine today, Brentford sat back, and we had so much possession. Imagine we play Manchester United next week at home, and it was different slightly, and they will have better defenders, faster attackers, and we set a high line. I'm getting a bit scared about that game.
Do you know what? I'd rather watch that though than fall asleep watching it, because that's what you were doing with Conte Ball. You was falling asleep watching it. So I'd much rather it be this kind of excitement, because all the way through I was excited because I was like, what's going to happen next? And that's what you want for a game of football. I know it's dangerous. I know that we can concede goals, but we're getting used to the system, Eugene. You've got to understand the players have got to get used to Angie's system. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Yeah, I understand. Of course, I understand it's going to take a bit of time. But number one, now I'm not comparing it with Conte Ball. All right, we're not going to compare this with Conte Ball because Conte Ball has gone way past already. At the moment now, I'm just saying this at this moment now with this squad of players, it's giving me a bit of jitters because I think not all of them are able to adapt to the style that Big Ange wants to play. The few players maybe okay. Maddison, he's more the creative midfielder. In the center of the box, the one with the players who can actually run up and down the field today, actually I saw is more or less Bissouma and Udogie, right? And the rest of them were all more or less, And as the game went on, my biggest fear was fatigue was going to come in and, they're going to drop off highly. But at least we held on to the 2-2 draw. 1 point at Brentford, I will take it because last season we lost there.
I'd absolutely take. I would have bitten your hand off for a 2-2 draw before today. Guys, stay there. I'm going to welcome in Kate and Adrian in 1 second. I've got a couple. There's no need for everyone can hang around because there's no more people in the background just yet. If there are people in the background, then I'll ask you guys to rotate. We did lose Kieran as well. I think he had to go for child policies, whatever. Paul Markey is in the chat. Big up for us. When I say child policy, he had something going on with his kid. He had to get off.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of the way that sounded really weird when I said it. I was like,
yes.
Right. I need to clarify that. Anyway, he had a child. He has a child, and he had to go and look after his child for a minute. Paul Markey, Paul Markey in the super chat space. Listen, guys, I really appreciate the super chats. As you know, this channel is limited ads on live stream. So if you do have any takes, if you do have any opinions you want to get absolutely guaranteed to be read out, then do what Paul has done here, and I really appreciate it, Paul. He's given us his performances tonight. He's saying Vicario ? Royale ? Kulu ? Skippy thought was a waste of space. We'll have to talk about him in a minute for sure. Van der Ven, he's given a 6. Bissouma a 9. Romero a 7 in the 10 minutes he had. Udogie an 8. Sonny a 5. Maddison a 7. Richarlison a ? Perisic a 4. When you're saying question marks, does that mean that you don't want to give them 2s or 3s? I'm not sure if that's what you're saying or if you're just saying you're not sure. For me, I agree with most of your takes on this. I think Perisic was worse than Sonny. I thought Sonny was bad enough. I didn't think Van der Ven was spectacular today. I thought he grew into the game. I thought he was a decent opener away. He was thrown in at the deep end and he doesn't know the system yet. So I'm not going to critique him too difficult, but I don't think he was amazing. If anything, I think Sanchez was actually the best centre-back on the pitch today. Again, funnily enough. And then Royale, I thought, had a good game. Kulu, I thought, tried his best. He was very much involved, but we'll get everyone else's opinions. Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to take over. Let me just get through the rest of it. Thank you, Paul. And also a second follow-up from you, my man. He's given Sanchez a 7. Oh, there you go. So you actually agree. Sanchez also, you think Sanchez deserves a 7 as well. Appreciate you, Paul, mate. Thank you for the super chat and the support of the show. Mark Howitt from Australia with a super chat. You haven't said anything. If you want something to say, mate, let me know and I'll find your comment. That you haven't got to put another super chat in. I'll bring it up, but very much appreciate the support. Guys, also, there's 900 people in the house. Awesome. Listen, if you want to participate in the conversation and you're not subscribed, you're not blocked from, all you got to do is hit the subscribe button and then you get access immediately to the chat. If you want to unsubscribe afterwards, you can. I hope you don't. But this is the little way of the little tricks of the trade in order to grow those subscriber bases. Kate, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon.
Overall thoughts, mate? Are you satisfied, happy, unhappy, stressed?
No, I mean, I did say 2-2 yesterday. I changed my mind at the last minute. It said 3-2, so I should have stuck with my 2-2. But overall,
because of El coming in with a 3-0, he got us all pumped up, didn't
he? He did.
No, I'm just part of the flip-flop crew now. That's it. You're part of Sean's flip-flop crew.
I can just see Kate with the 2-2.
Yeah, I did say Desmond sitting on the fence. I was generally pleased. Some people stood out more than others. I thought Udogie was fantastic. Basuma was brilliant. Mads was good. I thought Van der Ven was very good. I know you weren't particularly enamoured by his performance, but I already got 5 clearances, 5 out of 5 ground duels won, 4 out of 5 aerial duels won, and 0 times dribbled past. Van der Ven.
Oh, really? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I was really impressed.
I'll take it back. I'll take it back.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the stats on him yet. That's impressive.
Yeah, and I could see his speed as well. I thought he looked quick. So yeah, generally, all in all, I think it was very positive and it was so entertaining. Loved it. Love a bit of Ange ball.
Yeah, I love this. Is like to me, his point. It's so much better than the alternative.
Oh God,
the alternative would have been hanging on for dear life for 90 minutes and the occasional break that Harry Kane may or may not have saved us, or Sonny may or may not have saved us. This, for me, I'll bite your hand off for this stuff every week. We're going to win some, we're going to lose some, but I definitely think though there's question marks over our 9. I think that I know everyone, like last night, a lot of people were saying on the show, look, yes, we need to spend some of that money maybe on replacing Harry Kane, but actually the centre back is a necessary, more of a priority. I'd actually make the argument after watching today with Richarlison. That I think it's 50-50. I think that you need someone who can score goals and who's more comfortable on the ball. Adrian, welcome to the show, mate. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Some good comments. I just wanted to pick up on the things because I'm always looking to get an insight into Ange's mind. I mean, it was telling that Dyer didn't make the squad, whether that's through injury or otherwise, who knows. But it's good. But now you see the 20 he's got there. And the other thing that I picked up on quickly, when he made the substitution, it was Sanchez instead of Davis, right? So I'm beginning to think Sanchez might have a future at that club because he saved us a few times with his pace. The high line suits him because he can do a Carl Walker and use his pace to get out of trouble. Now, we know, I mean, the thing is, as Kate said before and others said before, these players do flatter deceive. They have 5 good games, then they go backwards again, you know? So we've got to let him make that choice, Sean. But I thought Sanchez was excellent again, you know?
Yeah.
And
same,
if he can do it in 2 games like that, I believe you can get a tune out of him. And at the moment, as he'd only be sold for 12 million, keep him. Keep him. Not dear to keep him, so you just keep him, Sean, don't you? You know.
I got a couple of comments. I want a couple of tweets from Ali Gold on Postacoglu's that I think we should call out with regards to Davinson Sanchez. Postacoglu on Eric Dyer's absence. Eric is a part of this team. We left a few out. We had a few not on the bench today that are very good players. Eric is the same. He's worked hard in training, but I'll pick the squad for any given game.
Diplomatic.
Go on, Adrian, I'll let you respond to that one, mate.
Diplomatic rubbish. I think his days are numbered. If you can't make the 20, there's something wrong. I can understand Gil, Sessegnon, who could go out on loan still. He's still 23, just back for injury. Gil, I haven't given up on, but whether he stays or not, I don't know. Bentancur, those 3 are going to come back into that squad before Dyer does. I mean, I know they're not defenders, but and we'll probably be getting another centre back. We will be getting another centre back in. So his days are numbered, aren't they? We will get a centre back in the next.
So is Ange just saying that then to calm the situation?
Yeah. That's without a crystal ball. I don't think you need to be a psychic to realise that. And what was all that people stuff? Go on, Mia. Go on.
Yeah, do you know what else you can say? Look how he handled the stuff about Harry Kane. He never gave anything away to us about the fact that he knew that Harry Kane was leaving. He always gave it, but he played it very, very cool. So I think that he's got a way about him that he doesn't always say it. He will play it very cool. That's what I will say.
I think you can kind of see the difference in class between him and Conte, where, like you say, it's kept in house so far, whereas Conte would have just felt he would have thrown everybody under the bus again. You know, he's not, you know, it was more about others than him. Whereas with Ange, it's about an internal thing. It's his players, it's his club. He's going to keep it that way. And what goes on doesn't need to come out until it needs to come out.
Yeah. He's brilliant at that press conference. We was always planning with that Kane, blah, blah, blah. And he said everything right. No BS. I was sick and tired of all them cryptic press conferences we got from Mourinho and Conte and all that. And I never wanted them at the club. I didn't know much about Nuno, but I didn't want them to. I knew they'd have badly because I'm a great believer in that you have a manager that inspires and cajoles players to do better, whether it's a Redknapp, a Joel, a Poch. those sort of type management managers that can inspire and motivate, not people that it's all about them. When things go wrong, they refuse to take the blame for everything, and they want to throw players under the bus. I don't think it's good for squad morale when you do that to a player. Players have mates, it's not good at all. Now, listen, I'm loving Angel. He is a right fit, and we've got our Tottenham back on that performance today. We've got our Tottenham back. I'll be looking forward to going to the game Saturday.
Yeah. I can't wait to go on Saturday, mate. Let me bring up a couple of these quotes that are coming out from the post-match press conference on Football London. Can you guys see this on my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We had Mickey from the Spurs boss. Here we go. I was pleased with the effort the lads put in. I was pleased with the way they reacted to everything that happened in the first half. In the second half, I felt we controlled the game. Controlled the game and could have created more. I agree. We should have created more. From Ange, he said we had Mickey, Destiny, and Vic making their debuts together. Obviously, they're going to need to get used to each other. We took a bit of a gamble throwing them all in, and I thought all of them handled themselves really well. Good point. Mickey has had only 3 sessions with us. I could have waited to put him in there, but he's a good footballer. Postecoglou on losing Harry Kane. Football clubs move on pretty quickly. I haven't had to address the players and give them a warm, fuzzy cuddle. You just love this guy, don't you? Absolutely
He's
brilliant.
great.
On Richarlison, I thought he worked hard today, but we didn't use him enough. He had a couple of half opportunities. I think we didn't look to use him enough. So he's distancing himself from a little bit of criticism. On Eric Dyer, I've said that one already. And on Romero, he got his head knock, and it was pretty clear medical team were monitoring. And then he scored with his head. They were pretty sure we needed to get him off. And what we hear of head injuries, we on the side of caution. The player is not, I'm not sure what that means, disappointed. We filled our wrong slip. I'm not sure. I think this has been like AI translated because it doesn't make sense. If we, what's going on there? Here we go. The player is not going to be one deciding in this situation. I'm disappointed we filled out the wrong form. But if we're going to worry about what form we fill out, hopefully he'll be okay. What happened there? Can someone explain that to me?
Does that mean because he was substituted rather than concussion?
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's that they wanted to do the concussion sub, but
we filled out the wrong form and then had to take him off.
No, but I think it would have
so
been
Spursy.
No.
What the hell is that?
No, I think what they've done is instead of when they substitute, instead of putting it down as a concussion substitution, they put it down as a normal substitution. They filled in the wrong form for it, basically. That's all that was.
And listen, guys, Mia and Eugene, there's 2 more people that want to come in, so I'm going to rotate. I don't want it to have more than 6.
Right.
So last words, Mia and Eugene, I'll give you guys last words to plug your channels and sort of takeaways from the game. And I'm going to bring Jacob and Rufus in. Amir, I'll start with you. Where can people find you? And final thoughts.
My final thoughts was it's a good start to Ange Ball. I think we have to give it a bit of time. We can't expect miracles. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I was happy with what happened today. I feel like it's a positive thing. I was enjoying the football, and everyone said we want to get our football back to what it should be, which is exciting, good football, which we saw today. So for me, I was happy. I don't see it as like a mega negative thing that we drew 2-2 to a team that didn't lose. So they only lost to 2 teams last season at home. 2 teams last season. So that just shows you what they're like at home. So they are strong at home.
Really good point.
For me, it's not a negative. And you can find me over at Spurs Between the Lines.
Awesome, guys. When I get a second, I'll put everyone's channel that's appeared on the show into the description afterwards. Thank you so much, Mia. I appreciate you coming on, mate. And Eugene, final thoughts from you. What's your take on the sort of final thoughts? And I'm going to bring in Jacob. And where can people find you, buddy?
For me, like I said earlier, right? To me, I won't take this match into much consideration because I see this more like an extension of our preseason, right? Because we didn't get much of a good preseason coming in. As for the results, I'll take the 1-1, right? Like a lot of people are saying, it's so hard to go to Brentford and get a point.
It was a 2-2.
2-2. Yes, it's so hard to get a point from Brentford, and it's not easy to get a win. So I'll take the 1 point. All right. And hi, Jacob. Long time no see. How's your sexy voice doing?
I've been reserving it for this day, Eugene. I've been reserving it for this moment.
Yeah. And to tell the truth, exciting. I don't know. Still debatable. Second half, we still lack the creation to break them down. Brentford setback. That could be Brentford's tactic. Of course, I'll give Ange time, right? I'll always support the manager, right? I'll give the squad time too, because it's a new manager. Whether they will be able to reach the pinnacle in his tenure, we'll see. And of course, let's see who's going out, who's going in, and about the Dian on the squad and all that. We'll see, right? And of course, if any guys would like to come and sub on my channel, Spurs Asian TV, I usually have a lot of Asian Spurs fans on more or less earlier times, right? Guys, Sean, thanks for having me on. Soren, long time no see. Adrian,
Big up,
right,
EJ.
and yeah, Jacob, right? Keep that sexy voice still on. Bye-bye.
I got you,
One
Eugene.
point
Don't
on
worry.
the concussion thing. Kevin G in here made a good point in the chat. He said because we didn't fill in the concussion form, normally you would have to miss a week. Sorry, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who said? Oh, Kev G. This is one.
He made a very good point. He said if we'd have filled in a concussion form for concussion, then Romero wouldn't be able to play against Man United Saturday because you have to take a week off.
Is that right? Okay.
I'm not sure if it's right, if it's true. It's a good thing we didn't fill the form in. If it's true, I mean, can someone source it? Does anyone know in the chat? Because I don't like to, give out false information. But no reason to doubt Kev G in the chat. Good point if it's right. So just
nice work. Let me bring Jacob in and Jacob, welcome. Sorry, Rufus, I can see you in the background, mate. I'm gonna bring you in as well, buddy. But we got an order. I guess that's Rufus's son, is it? Hi, Ray. How you doing? Good to see you, boy.
Jacob meets Jacob.
Oh, Jacob meets Jacob. There you go.
Hey, Jacob.
Good to see you guys. Let's start with no, wait, where did we get to in the queue? Oh, you know what? I'll give Jacob the first crack on this one, mate. Talk to me about Bissouma, mate. Boss Suma today. I mean, are we looking at? I've been saying all summer, I don't know if Bissouma can magically handle that 6. He's the perfect fit, but today he looked like the absolute perfect 6.
He did. He absolutely did.
Absolutely.
Sorry, go on, sorry, American Jacob first. Sorry, German Jacob. Wait a minute. American Jacob will come to you first. Jacob, Jacob from United Spurs of America. Crack on, mate.
Yves Bissouma is the player we always thought he was. He is who we thought he was, and I'll put it that way, plainly, bluntly. That's why I bought the Bissouma 38 shirt last season, because I have faith that we were going to get that Brighton player clicking and running with us. So, honestly, to complete over 100 passes and the way and the manner in which he did was something pretty special. He really bossed the midfield there and showed that he's the player we all thought he was. I mean, this is the guy, every time we played Brighton, he was giving us trouble. This wasn't De Zerbi Brighton. This was Potter Brighton with Bissouma in the midfield, just over-controlling the entire game anytime we played him. And when he came to us, that's kind of what we thought we'd do. We're seeing him unshackled and free and playing to the best of his abilities, honestly. I would have liked a little bit more to be a little more clinically good in the final third from Bissouma. There were a couple passes outside of Richarlison's pace. I mean, Richarlison's never had that much pace, but he did put a couple balls ahead of him, and there was just a couple of instances where he could be cleaner, but I think at every aspect we could be cleaner. We're still gelling and meshing as an 11. I assume things are going to change with Oliver Skipp. I thought he was pretty woeful today, but for the most part, in regards to Bissouma, very happy with what I saw. Deservedly man of the match nominee, in my opinion. Absolutely just ran the midfield. Did exactly what we were hoping we'd do. If we do that, maybe mix in a little Papa Matasar instead of Skipp and see what we could do. I was on the Football Terrace momentarily, and they mentioned Giovanni Lo Celso playing in Skipp's role. And I kind of said how I thought Lo Celso was more of a Madison backup and that they occupy the same spaces when they're on the pitch. But I don't know if any of y'all think Skipp for Lo Celso or Sarr. For me, I'm saying Papa Matasar because he came on and he was pretty good. He was pretty good whenever he came on, not going to lie. So I'd like to see more of him personally.
Let me throw that question back to Soren to keep you involved, mate. I know because I know you're staying with me for the show, but I don't want it to continually miss you out. Soren, Pape Sarr instead of Skip, Lo Celso instead of Skip. Did Skip do badly enough today, or did he not participate enough to keep his space? Why did we even bring Skip in the first place, in your opinion? Answer all three.
I mean, I think personally, I would have liked to have seen probably Lo Celso, but you know, if Pap Sarr had been on there as well from the beginning, then I wouldn't have been downhearted. But yeah, Basuma was just magical today. He was just the man. You know, he has stepped up. I mean, I know the systems were different to last year, but you've got to wonder why he wasn't playing last year. I mean, I know he was injured a little bit, but he just showed he's a player we've been waiting for a long time. Yeah. And then put Maddison. I mean, obviously we're talking about Lo Celso or Pap Sarr now, but can you just start to salivate when we get Bentancur back as well? If he's actually hits the form, Bentancur, Maddison, and Basuma, how good is that midfield three going to be? That's going to be awesome. But Pap Sarr to me or Lo Celso, yeah, I'm quite happy with either.
Kate, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I thought Basuma I haven't got enough words to say how brilliant I think he was. He just completely bossed it. He controlled the speed of the midfield. It was just superb. Skippy, I think he kind of earned his place in the starting lineup for his 2 goals against Barca, maybe. But for me, it should have been Sarr, and Sarr should be the one who replaces him next week. In my opinion, I think he's a better fit. He's more confident on the ball. I'm just not sure Skip's got it. I want him to have it, but I don't think he's got it.
He felt fairly irrelevant to me, Adrian.
Well, it's like we're going under the squad, aren't we? I mean, if Skip goes, who are you going to bring in? I mean, what happens? The same with the Højbjerg situation. I mean, if we are really up against it, when Ange's ball doesn't work, we're not going to play like that every game, right? And have that much domination, are we? There are going to be times when we're dominated. Who'd you bring on to stiffen the midfield? Who'd you bring on? I mean, I don't mind when people say get rid of players if we're going to bring in someone who's better, who can do the job. But just to say get rid of him, get rid of him, get rid of him. We did that with my fan base. We'd have no players at all. I mean,
of course.
Yeah, so like,
well, I'm not making the argument to get rid of Skippy. I just don't think he should necessarily have started.
He did show it did not today, and I think this was the thing that did it. I've noticed it before when he's received a booking. He drops off the game. His game suffers when he gets a booking.
Good point.
Right? And that referee was bad anyway, because why do our players get tackled from behind and they don't get a booking? And when our bookings were justified, right? They were justified, but Brentford should have picked up a few more. That referee was a bit of a homer, I thought, in one way or another, and he bottled it on the penalty. You know,
word on the street is he's a gooner.
Every time a ref goes to the screen, if it's dubious about a penalty, when has the penalty ever not been given? When the referee goes to that screen, it's always
the broadcast. Human nature, isn't it? He hasn't seen the initial. You have to be a brave soul to not give it on the field. Then the VAR team of 8 to say you should probably go and take a look at it. You might have made a mistake, and then to go and say, actually, you bunch of 8 in the room. Screw your opinion. I was right the first time. It takes a brave soul. And then how much additional analysis is that going to get in the aftermath of the game versus whether he just goes, yep, okay, if you think so, then I think so, kind of thing.
The broadcast did say that ref was the one who awarded the most penalties last Premier League season. So I don't know his name. I just remember the broadcast saying that fact.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Fair play to our young team, because even when they took the lead, we carried on. It's like Ange says, it was Ange's ball. Last year, if we was playing at low block under Conte, we'd have probably lost that game and folded.
Well, we did.
We did. Completely new back four, right? You're playing a completely new back four virtually.
Yep.
No, I think they did. Considering we had so many sort of debutants in it, and it was a new system the first game, especially why at Brentford, not many teams get anything there. I thought it was Ange ball. I disagree with Eugene. He's a lovely fellow, whatever his name is, but I disagree with him. that was Ange ball, and please more, please. Oliver Twist. Can I have some more, please?
We've just got to remember that this is a brand new team virtually. I mean, I know there's some players in there, but we haven't played this system before. It's a brand new manager. It's a brand new team. It's brand new everything. We've just lost our talisman, and we come out and get a draw, looking like we could have done more. You know, there can't be many Spurs fans out. I mean, there will be some, obviously, but there can't be many Spurs fans out there that are not happy with today.
So I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I woke up so early to watch that.
Let me bring in. Hang on, Adrian. Let me bring in Rufus and Jacob for a minute. Welcome to the show, boys. How you doing?
Hello. Oh yeah.
Let me ask your. What's that, mate?
Joining you from the garden at my mum's.
Oh, nice, mate. Nice. Where about you in Germany right now, or are you in England?
No, we're in Bognor Regis.
Oh, lovely, mate. Lovely. Good to see you both. Let me get your opinions. Well, first and foremost on the game overall. Are you happy? I'm seeing Chelsea have just equalised against Liverpool, by the way. 1-1, so good game on the background.
Well.
But Rufus and Jacob, what's your take on the result? Was it a fair result? Did we deserve the win? Are you happy? Are you scared about certain things? Go where you want with it, mate.
We're not convinced about the goalie at all. He had some moments, but the thing is we were both asked last season on the Irish show who we would bring in as goalkeeper, and we both said the same player, and that was Flecken from Freiburg, because that's where we live. Right. And we were watching him week in, week out. He came in because the first goalkeeper was injured, and he was so solid, and we both said we would love to see him in a Spurs shirt, and it was a sad moment today to see him play against us and do so well.
Well, I mean, did he do that well in the first half? I think we had 2 shots and he didn't make a save and conceded 2 goals. I think in the second half he was better. I think he made good saves against Sunny and stuff. But sorry, Jacob,
he made a couple of solid stops, and he looked a bit more confident than our goalkeeper, I must say.
He looked a little bit more confident than our goalkeeper on debut. That's what I think. But nevertheless,
we got to get behind our own goalkeeper, and he did do have a couple of moments. I forget, it was in the second half, and he caught it in a difficult situation. And I turned around to Jacob and I said, Loris would have punched that.
Yeah.
Loris would have just punched that, and it was like 1-on-1. They were with each other when they jumped, and he just grabbed it out of the air, jumped down confidently, and I just turned around to Jacob and said, Loris would have punched that. And
let me stay with you guys. I'll ask you guys this one. I got a super chat here. Sorry, from Mark Howard. He's saying give Scarlett a go at 9. I'll let you go on that one, Rufus. Is Dane Scarlett ready for a? I mean, are we making a decision on Richarlison too early, or?
Yeah. Everybody's got a gel. I would actually like to see Scarlett stay this season. If unless we make a mega signing with the K money, I mean, I don't know what's on the horizon there, but if we were to stick with the players that we got now, then I'd definitely like to have him on the bank.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, Mark. And I'll last question for you, Rufus, for the second, mate, or for your son, Jacob. Bissouma and Maddison were really good, says Donovan Davis, but that front 3 needs some changes. He's not sold on Skip, and the back 4 wasn't horrible. Van der Ven is a huge upgrade. Thoughts? I'll let you take the first part of that, mate. Bissouma and Maddison were really good, but he's not sold on Skippy. Where would you guys go for the Manchester United game? Playing at home, playing against United. They got a ridiculous midfield 3. They haven't signed Amrabat yet, but they don't need him to be incredible because Casemiro, Matt Mason, Mount, Ericsson, they've got options all over the park, really. How do we negate that threat next Saturday at home? Do you stick with Skip? Do you go to Sarr, Lo Celso? Where do you guys fancy us going?
Oh, it's a difficult one. If you want somebody a bit more defensive, then you got to go Skip. If you want somebody a bit more attacking, you got to go Sarr. I'd probably go Sarr. We're at home.
All right. And what about you, Jake? What about you? Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, finish your point, Rufus.
Got to grab the game by the neck, haven't you? When you're at home, you can't be holding back.
That's right, mate. That's right. Jacob from USA. How do you take on Manchester United next week, mate? Midfield, big battle going on there. How do you handle it?
Absolutely. I put Papa Matasar in for Skip, Bissouma, Maddison. I liked what I seen from him. In regards to the Richarlison thing or Dane Scarlett, I'm putting Sonny at the 9. He was very much the first 45 non-existent. not very good there. And in the second half, Sonny had a touch in the top of the box. And again, I'm one of the people that'll immediately run to Sonny's aid in defense anytime anyone badmouths him. So I'm going to be critical here. In the box, he's got to have a better first touch. But I think playing him through the middle more regularly and letting him have more than one touch in the box will help Son, in my opinion. So I would put Son in the middle. Perisic wasn't really that great when he came on, in my opinion. But Perisic or Solomon, let's see who's going to eat it out. This week because you know, Sanchez came in, he's shown to be the guy who can at least come off of the bench, and I think he proved something to Ange Postecoglou in Barcelona, as did Skip. But I worry that the Skip thing may be a little premature. So that's why I'm going with Sarr personally.
I think so as well. Kate, midfield next Saturday. Who gets your starting berth?
Exactly what Jacob just said. Absolutely agree with him word for word. It's got to be Sarr. I think Skip's going to have to just sit it out for a bit. I think Sarr needs to take the lead here. I don't think Skip's strong enough at the minute in the Premier League. I don't know why. Like I say, I'm not saying get rid of him. I just don't think he should be a starter. So, yeah, I would definitely put Sarr in there. And Richie, I keep getting told off by Jim for writing him off too soon. Says you've got to give him a chance. So reluctantly, I'm going to say stick with Richie.
Give him a chance. Like, I mean,
well, I've never rated him.
Season. He just can't. He can't track. His first touch is horrendous. It's horrendous.
I agree. Absolutely, 100%.
He had one good turn.
He can't seem to get himself into the game. It's just, but. You know, Jim's like, he's been overshadowed by Kane. I really think he'd come good. So I hope I'm wrong. But if Everton would buy him back, I'd sell him in a heartbeat. I say it all the time. And I mean it. I think he's just...
hand off of 35 million quid for him if it could
make us exactly that.
Adrian,
I'd send him to Ghent, personally.
Yeah, do a swapsies for thingy, yeah. I've got to run downstairs. Adrian, I want you to run with this one, mate. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Skip is lower end of championship standard. Discuss.
Well, what you've got to take in consideration is, like, we have our opinions on players, which is subjective, but there's a reason why Ange picked Skip to play in that midfield three. You know, it's the same as there's a reason he picks the front three. Well, I mean, if we're hypercritical, the front three, none of them performed today, really, did they? None of them performed. It was all the midfield, and we are spoilt for choice with permutations of three players in midfield. You still got Lo Celso, you've got Bentancur to come back. You know. And Sarr, we all like Sarr. I mean, I love the player. I liked him for an age, but Skip does give you that. He gives you more energy than Sarr does. And Sarr, to me, is like another Patrick Vieira. He could play anywhere in the midfield. Probably play as the number 6 as well and hold that position. But I think he's got to earn a bit more trust to do that. And he is young, and young players will make mistakes, you know. And so,
the beauty of it all, Adrian, is that, you know, we've got a couple of players that, if they come in, they're certainly, you know, it's not a drop in standard in any way now. That's the difference. And because we're playing a 3 in midfield, we're going to look a hell of a lot more solid than we did last year with only 2. So you can, I'm not saying we can carry a player, but, you know, to me, like you say, I would love to see Sarr in there, but let him get some confidence, build that confidence, because he is going to be a top player soon. He is going to be really, really good player.
Yeah, he's technically he's excellent. He's excellent technically. Whereas, like, you'd question Skip. We don't know his ceiling yet. He's still very young, and like, he did show us something different in a Barcelona game, getting forward and getting the goals. He's not been told to sit back all the time, whatever, because normally one of your midfield threes sits, but our threes seem to all get forward. Well, if they can, you know, they dominate.
Yeah.
So, no, look, the bench is looking good without the injured, without the wounded, right? Yeah. It's looking good. I would keep Sanchez as 4th choice centre back because you won't get much for him anyway. So I'd keep, and you bring in another centre back. And you've got, I mean, Van der Ven and Romero gone, look, he showed us a lot. What's in his thinking today? I always look like, you look at the 11 that started. There's a reason he picked the front 3, whether we like them or not. None of them performed, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of Kulusevski. I get pelters for it. That's fair enough. It's subjective. But he's such a good playmaker.
I like Kulusevski, mate. I just wish Kulusevski had a little bit more of a He's predictable. He does the same thing every time. He does it well, but he's predictable.
I think what I would have liked to have seen today
sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think what I would have liked to have seen today, or certainly coming forward in the future, if we stick with them three, is Richie and Son just interchanging a little bit more. Let Son come down the middle a little bit, let Richie go out. Because Richie, he's quite good at that running in, whereas Son, obviously, we know he's brilliant at the counter-attacking, but let him go through the middle because he's kind of shown that he can instinctively score. Whereas we've not seen that from Richie. So maybe if they interchange a little bit, rather than being rigid, Richie down the front, Sonny on the left, I think that would work a little bit more just to see if they can create a little bit more space.
Difficult, isn't it? Because the transfer window's not shut yet, and we're not too sure what we're going to do with the money from Kane, are we?
I think we need to see a Gift Urban or somebody like that, but we want another
do something quick. But Ange said he wanted to, or that Tottenham needed to sell before they can buy. He needed to strip the squad. So this week you want to hear things that are happening with regards Basuma. With regards Ndombele, with regards Lloris. You want to hear some of these names are finding new homes.
Well, I think Lloris is about gone anyway. I think he's basically gone now. Hopefully, what's happened over the last few days, maybe Dyer's gone as well. Certainly think we should keep Sanchez. From what is shown from these two, then, I don't see unless we're going to get a decent replacement, then that's different. If we get a Tapsoba or somebody like that, then fair enough, they can go. But, I don't think to me, we want two more players. We want a striker and we want a centre-back. And then, depending if we sell any of our starters, we've then got to look at replacing them.
Are you that bothered about striker? I mean, if it meant we got Tapsoba in,
if I had to choose,
Richarlison, haven't we? So would you go with him to January?
We cannot. If we've got a chance of getting this Gift Urban, then we've got to try and get him. We've got to try and get him. But to me, I mean, we want another top quality centre back, definitely. Arguments we might need a right back, but to me, if we get a decent centre back, I'd be quite happy with what we've done.
See, I would take Gift Orban for 30 mil, even up to 35.
I don't think we need personally, I don't think we need a starting striker, but I do think we need somebody else just for that future. If Richie doesn't do it, then you've got Gift Orban and Velez, two players you're just going to have to give a chance to.
How about this for a different stance? And before I give the my take on it, just quickly, massive shout out to Nigel C, become a new channel member. Big up, Nigel. Appreciate the support. Don't know if you're a pony or a puppy, my man, but appreciate the love, my man. It really helps the channel out. And also from Bet's friends, from Australia. Considering the pre-season, Kane leaving so close to the start of the season, a new way of playing, a tough away fixture, we should be happy with the result. Completely agree, my man. I'm very, very happy. I'm very satisfied. I actually think we should have done better in the second half with all the possession that we had. And on that note, Gift Orban, look, brilliant finisher, can play right, left, or centre. I think I'd love to see him now. But is there an argument? To wait? Can we hang on until January, but get the deal done now? But wait, because obviously you can't sign him now. Ivan Toney? Isn't Ivan Toney the perfect player to replace Richarlison? Couldn't you even make a swap deal with Brentford and say, you take Richie, we'll give you an extra 10 million or something. Everyone's a winner chicken dinner.
Will they do it though?
Well, I don't know. Even if they don't do it, I just have zero confidence in Richarlison. I don't think he's good enough. And I think Ivan Toney today puts away. He wins those aerial. He's dangerous. Go on, mate. Sorry.
How much do you think Toney would cost?
Well, he's going into the last 18 months of his contract in January, so
they wanted 40 mil for the goalkeeper, right?
Yeah, and they end up getting 3 million for him. So I don't know. I feel like maybe 55, 60 million, something like that.
Well, if we're going to spend that sort of money, I'd want Vlahovic.
Okay.
I mean, he's quality, and Juventus want to sell. I mean, all the other strikers, there's a risk with them. Moani, he looks decent going forward, but he tends to plough his way forward a lot of the time. You've got Jonathan, David. not convinced about him.
Don't like Jonathan David.
Talk about
Hey, Sean, I do got to jump. I got to make
Montpellier.
breakfast for the family, but I did want to say, when I first tuned in, you were saying you weren't too impressed with Van de Veen. Oh, yeah, the quiz is coming for sure. But you weren't too impressed with Van de Veen. Honestly, for a debutant, I thought he was absolutely brilliant, well composed, very unlucky on that deflection in. I don't know if they gave him the own goal or what, but very unlucky.
I didn't say I was unimpressed. I just said I just didn't think he had a worldie. Someone was suggesting he should be in the man of the match list, and I was like, I don't think that's legit.
He definitely would be like third or fourth in my
I agree.
behind Udogie probably. I thought Udogie was absolutely brilliant defensively, putting to rest a lot of the defensive worries.
So you're saying he didn't have as good a game as Maddison. He didn't have as good a game as Sanchez. He didn't have as good a game as Emerson Royale. You think he was better? Sorry, he did that. You're saying he had better games than those guys?
No, I'm saying my man of the match is Maddison. My runner-up would be Basuma. And then my third or fourth would be someone between Van de Veen and Udogie.
Yeah, I agree.
Ahead of Royale.
Yes, all day long. He was
because Royale, all he did was nullify the goal that he gave up. He gave the ball away in the midfield.
What are you saying?
Royale gave the ball away in the midfield, and then they went on to go score a goal from that. I completely blame
down the right side. They all went down Royale's side.
I mean, he had a bad game. That's just the way that Brentford played because Emerson Royale was plugged in.
He can't defend.
What are you talking about?
He's awful.
I'm saying Emerson Royale gave the ball away that led to a goal, so therefore scoring the goal to me nullifies that, and I'm not mad at him for it. That's what I'm saying. But no, he doesn't get a nod. Yeah, I put Van de Veen ahead of that. Yeah. Because I didn't think he gave the ball away stupidly like that led to a goal.
Better game than Van de Ven. I'll give Van de Ven the credit because it was his debut, but like,
his stats were fantastic. I know stats don't mean everything, but his stats were fantastic, Van de Ven.
All right, listen, Jacob, thank you for coming on, my man. Appreciate you. What's coming up on United Spurs of America? I'll put your link in the chat as soon as we're done here.
Might be doing something later on today. We'll be hopping on the Irish Hotspur here in a little bit, but I got to try and make some breakfast for the family first. But what a way to wake up. I want to say I'm overall pleased with the result. As we saw last season, I think Brentford away was an L, a 2-0, 3-0, something like that loss. So the fact that we were able to put it on them like that, we made them sit back and be defensive. We still almost got nearly 70% possession. I like the way things are looking. My shirt says I'm all in on Ainge Ball. I'm all in on the Ainge Ball, and Ainge I trust. So whatever he does, I do agree with Adrian and whoever says that Skip was in there for a reason. Hey, I agree. I trust Ainge. But you know what? I also trust that he's going to do something he's either going to get Skip on the right path or he's going to replace him. And we saw with the substitutions, I think he's not afraid to do that. He said, son, you've been ineffective so far. Get out. It's 70 minutes. Get out. And let's bring Perisic on. Give that armband. And that's why I like the vice captain thing as well, Sean, just to caveat that. I like the vice. It holds Son accountable. It holds everyone accountable because there's still someone right there that can wear the armband behind you. So I like it. I still like the Sonny captain appointment, but he'll come better. I still have faith. Don't worry. Put him in the striker role. I think he'll be all right. But big ups, everybody. Big up the chat. Big up Kate, Adrian, Soren, Rufus, and Jacob, Sean. Big ups. Hope you'll have a great rest of your Sunday. And as always, quiz. Sean, can you give me the sign off, Sean?
Quiz.
See you.
John, we digressed a bit. We need to digress. We were talking about who we're actually going to sell out of this squad. If this squad's so big, people are saying it's like 38 players. I don't think it is. I haven't got the squad up on the site or anything. But the only two I can see is selling at the moment are like Tanganga and Ndombele.
And Højbjerg.
Dyer, Tanganga, Ndombele.
Oh, yeah, Dyer. Yeah. He's finished and he's done.
Brian Hill might go out, even though he's injured. Or if Brian Hill stays, or do you leave him out of the squad? I don't know. I don't know what you do, but how long is Brian Hill out for?
I think he likes Reguilon. I think he hasn't finished having a look at him. I mean, I'm not sure about Reguilon, but I'd like to see more.
Again, we're talking about Reguilon. I mean, what we've got to remember is he was injured a lot last year, so he's kind of coming back as a fresh player. He needs a little bit of time. I mean, that first season he came to us, he looked pretty good.
He's back. Right, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, sorry guys. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm lagging from bloody halfway across the world. Oh, welcome. Hello. So,
Hello, mate.
again.
Let's continue. I don't know what happened to Adrian. He's
Adrian.
dropped off. Soren,
I'm just going to have to say,
Sean,
Sean,
was it
I'm
you,
going to have
Soren?
to chip.
Was it Rufus? Who was talking?
Hey, what?
I'm going to have to chip, Sean. We're going down the beach. It's nice
All right,
day.
mate.
And
Thanks for coming on, buddy. I'll speak to you soon, all right?
yeah. Take care. I'm going
See you, mate.
to see you after the next game.
Yeah.
Bye. Take care, mate.
Hey,
Bye.
buddy.
So what were you saying, Sean?
I don't know. Who was making the last point? Adrian's back. Who was making the last point? I thought someone was talking. Was it Adrian or was it you?
I think Adrian was talking and then I just jumped onto it, but he was on about players being sold, wasn't he?
Reguilon we're talking about.
Yeah, sort of how many players were going to be sold, and then we sort of said Reguilon as well.
Yeah.
So
go on then. Finish your point.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly we do need to see some players going out, like Adrian says. You know, we've got Hugo's about gone. I think we certainly need to see a couple of those other players. And Ndombele, please go. You know, let's not keep him. Dyer, if Dyer goes, this transfer window's suddenly a 10 out of 10 for me. He just needs to get out of our.
That's a really interesting take. I love the thus far conversation. You know, remember from last summer, we spent all summer talking about thus far, and it ended up being a mad one. This channel is known for thus far conversations. Paul Markey, big up to Paul, mate. Really appreciate your generosity this evening or this afternoon. Don't forget, Valiz is big and strong. He was left out of the squad today. I think Andrew already said that he's not going to be playing too many minutes until he settles in. So let's not put any rush onto him. But thus far, for me, the window, as it currently stands, with Harry Kane going and the players being brought in, I think as it currently looks, is probably a 5. Right? But maybe a 6 because we got good money for Harry Kane. But as I said, I made the same point Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust. And if you want to talk about that as a group, I'm more than happy to. I've got so much heat from my video with Mia about the supporters trust. I've had about 20 people unsubscribe telling me, I'm glad you've shown your true colours, Sean. You're leaving in all the way, you prick. All this, like, whatever. I don't care. Like, I don't care. But
on that, Sean, I mean, when I was speaking to Brian Daigle, I went just to say hello to him at the last demonstration and all that. And I said, I think a big mistake's being made here by certain members in your group, that you're classing Spurs that aren't in, they're classing Spurs supporters that aren't in your group as Levy in. I said that backfires badly on you. And I said to him, look, and I support the protest. Don't get me wrong. I was saying this to Brian Daigle, right? And I said to him, they should be classed as, look, you've got the activist protesters. You've got the non-activist keyboard protesters, right? So they go to these events and they don't. And I said to him, the rest of us should be classed as ordinary Spurs supporters, not specifically Levy in. I said, how does that help you? It doesn't help at all, And I get on well with Brian, and I've even thrown a few ideas his way. And
Adrian, can you? At the risk, my internet is all over the place. Can you say what you said again? So you were having a conversation with Brian, and Brian was saying what?
I was saying to him, I said, Brian, I think it's a mistake. He said, I said, I want no owners and I want a debt cleared and all that. I'd love that, right? But that ain't going to happen anytime soon, is it? So I'm realist and practical about it. But I said, I think, this trolling ordinary Spurs fans and calling them Levy in, I don't agree with it. I mean, you should just class them as I don't know any Levy inners as a fact. I just class myself as a supporter, right? I'm a Spurs supporter. I'm not a Levy in because I ain't standing on a protest march, although I will go over and say hello when I'm going to the ground, before I go in, because I'm always meeting people when I go to the ground. I'm meeting them in the Gilpin Bell. I'm meeting them in the ground.
I think there's a difference. There's a split here because you've got Levy out, who just at any cost want Levy out. Doesn't matter what he's done or why he's done it. They just want Levy out. But then you've got people like me I'm not Levy in. I just want change. Now, whether that comes with Daniel Levy or with new owners, I don't care. I just want change. But then, so it's kind of like it has to be black and white. There can't be any middle ground. So because I want change but don't want to shout Levy out, I'm classed as Levy in. And I think that's where the problem comes, that I've been described as all sorts. I think Daniel Levy's my sugar daddy. I think there was a couple of other comments by somebody else in the group with us now on a previous one. But I want to see change in the club. But I'm a supporter of the club. I appreciate what Daniel Levy has done off the pitch. I don't appreciate what he's done for us on the pitch. And
most supporters, I think. Go on.
Yeah, this is the problem where people like me then suddenly get absolutely slaughtered and called all the names under the sun when we all want the same thing. We all want a successful football club. I just don't care whether it comes with Daniel Levy and he changes the way, which I'm told he can't, but I'm still prepared to give him that chance. I just want to see change and I want to see success on the pitch. Whether that comes with new owners, brilliant. I don't care. Whether it comes with Daniel Levy, brilliant. I don't care as long as it comes.
And also I said to Brian, I said, it's not. Look, I said you've had a good effect. The protest is you've had more people sing in the ground than to stand at a protest. I said that hasn't gone unnoticed by Levy. They don't like that. They want that stadium sanitised, pure, because they want it to be a big money making venture that it is, right? And they want to monetize it even further in lots more different ways that I can think of, right? Now, So I was saying to him, it's not, Brian, don't get disheartened. I said, it's not about numbers. It's about the effect. If you're being mentioned in media streams, radios, TV, and then you are having an effect. And I said, the protest has had an effect, even with the balloons and everything else, it's had an effect. And, it needs to, I've spoken to him about other ideas for him, but I'm not going to go into them now.
Yeah. I think the saddest part to it all, Adrian, is you've got a vast majority that will turn up and say that they're Levy out, but they won't stand with people like Brian and that on the protest. Now, to me, if you're going to stand there and say, I'm Levy out and I want Levy out of my club and all this lot, you've got to kind of be prepared to actually put your neck on the block and stand with these people. If that's the way you agree, then that's what you should be doing. If you want Levy out and you're going to the match, even if you stand there for 2 seconds, walk away, but it's all right saying, well, there's 10, 20,000 people singing in the stadium that they want Levy out. Well, why can't they back them while they stood outside for 10 minutes? That's what I don't understand. All these people that are Levy out but don't want to put the face to that thing, and you've got people like Brian that I think the only downside that I see with and I know it goes both ways, obviously, but that if you're not Levy out, you're not a supporter, or you're stupid, or you're thick, or you're this, or you're that. That's where I think the problem comes. That there's so many names being bandied about. There's so much animosity because you don't agree with their opinion. That's where I think they fall down.
Oh, I think people.
I think it happens on both sides. I think it comes from.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. You get it on both sides.
I think a lot of people that are Levy out, I see some of their content. They portray themselves as, and maybe correct me or not, I'm not on the receiving end. I'm not a Levy outer, so I'm not on the receiving end of the vitriol that they probably receive on Twitter from people that don't support their narrative. But I get a lot of vitriol thrown at me for not representing the same. Listen, I think everyone's just got to accept that everyone views their club differently. Everyone has different expectations. Everyone considers different things to be of different levels of priority and different weightings on whether or not you're. And for me personally, like I say, I judge Daniel Levy on every moment in isolation. I think a lot of people will look to defend Daniel Levy regardless. And I think a lot of people will look to attack Daniel Levy regardless. And I think that if you have those partisan sort of prerequisite ideologies because you don't want to be wrong and that you're always looking for a reason to amplify that you're right, then you end up being disingenuous with the personal takes. I'd rather just look at everything that happens in isolation and go, is this one of the things that you tick into the Levy pro box or the Levy con box or the Levy irrelevant box? For me, when it comes to the Harry Kane sale, I don't know. That's why I said what I said about the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust. I was like, if they're going to moan about the timing of the Harry Kane decision, then they should also moan about the time. They should also recognise that trying to create negativity about the club at this time of the season is also stupid. It's also It's also ridiculous. I don't think that they are representing a balanced perspective. I think that they have changed their leadership, and the people that have come in, I don't know who they are, but to me, they've come across since they've been in. Everything they've released has come across very much familiar to a certain tone and a narrative. I don't think it's. They picked two very weird hills to die on. I think of all the things you could criticise Daniel Levy for, the two hills that they've chosen, the ticket prices, I think were, they were representing it as entirely unjustifiable. Actually, if you know a thing or two about economics and business, that you'll see that there's more than enough reasons to justify the ticket prices. If you know a thing or two about transfer windows, then you'll know that, and the risk of losing Harry Kane, then you can easily justify the Harry Kane sale. Was it perfect? No, but it never is. I just think that the support trust are supposed to stay a little bit impartial. They're supposed to represent the fans' opinions, not show their own. And it comes across to me like they were shooting from the hip and talking from the heart rather than the head, and that's not their role and responsibility. Fan channels can do what they want. Brian can say what he wants. Other channels can say what they want. That's their opinion. But the supporters trust are not supposed to speak for their opinion. They're supposed to represent the fans' opinion, and I don't think they do that correctly at the moment.
I think if you look at the panel, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all got a different opinion of whether we want Levy at the helm or not, or we want new owners or what. At the end of the line, though, we all want the same thing. We want success. We want success on the pitch. I don't care how that comes, whether that's with Levy or without Levy. But there isn't a person on here that doesn't want to see Tottenham successful, however we get there. Sure, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well, I support Ange no matter what. So I guess one good thing is Levi got him in, or Levi got him in to be successful for the club. I mean, you could look at the rankings, and we finished 8th, on the ladder last year. But I think Ange is going to bring success and probably finish top 5. I just have enough confidence in him. Levy got that right at least. With the Kane thing, I think he took way too long with that. But that's done and dusted now, and we can move on from that.
What did he get wrong with it? You can't.
Nothing got wrong apart from the time, I think. But he did the right thing. He sold him for the maximum he could. So
no, you couldn't accept a bid that wasn't there.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't time went on, Bayern coming low balling us. If he'd have accepted a low offer, he'd have got tons of stick for that. I mean, I personally thought the Supporters Trust message was awful, absolutely dreadful. I watched Sean's and Mia's videos, and I agreed with everything you said. I thought it came across as very Levy out. I thought it came across a bit preachy, a bit aggressive. I didn't like it at all. But I don't see the point of the Supporters Trust. They never get anything done. So I don't really care what they think or what they say, but don't make out that you're speaking for normal fans, because you're not. That's how I feel.
Phil P.
More than success, though.
What was that, Adrian? Ticketing prices as well within the remit of the trust. Of course it is. They can have an opinion on it, but they don't necessarily share the opinion of everybody, is my point. The club have treated the trust and match-going fans with disdain. In your opinion, Phil, love you to pieces, mate, but in your opinion, they have. And a lot of other people's, and if you look at the trust, the whatever it was, the voting thing, what's the word? The poll that they took that came out on the 8th, they represented things that were neutral, 50-50 on ticket prices, 50-50. 50% were in favor of it, 50% were against it. And the way that they summarized it was 50% of the fan base see this as incredibly negative and egregious. Well, 50% didn't. So why are you saying like that? Why can't you just say there's an even balance of opinion on the ticket prices? It's natural that they stand up for the fans on those. Mate, they don't also mention the fact that for the last 4 seasons before this season, the ticket prices were flatlined during a cost of living crisis, during the COVID inflation crisis. No other football club in the Premier League froze match day prices for 4 years. No other Premier League team has frozen the season tickets for the last 2 years. They don't mention that. Instead, they say it's entirely unjustifiable. It's like they've made their mind up. Like there is no justifiable reason. Actually, there is, mate. And if you know economics, and I know you do, bro, because I know where you work, then you should know that there is a justifiable excuse, but the supporters trust represented it as though there wasn't one, and there is. And that's my problem. It's okay for you, Phil, to have the opinion that you have. It's okay for me to have the opinion that I have. My channel, I can say what I want. They are not, if whoever's writing those statements, if they want to say that stuff because that's how they feel, then they should start their own channel or have an individual Twitter account. They shouldn't be saying it on behalf of the trust, because the trust is supposed to represent the 10,000 people that were polled in that annual survey. And they're not. They don't represent it that way. They represent it like they're being influenced by certain narratives that are incredibly popular on Twitter, but are incredibly unpopular when you look in the real world. If those narratives were more popular in the real world, you would see more people stand up at the protest, and they don't. So the supporters trust are not representing the general fans. They don't. They represent their own opinions, and that's my problem. They can say how they feel how they want as individuals, but that's not their remit, and that's my issue.
See, there's been obviously the change of people at the head of it now, and it's almost like the ones that are at the head are now only happy if people are agree. You know, they're prepared to shout about the side that coincides with what they think, rather than the other side, which, like you say, 50-50. So we'll shout about the negative rather than the positive.
The problem is, and you can call me an idiot for all you want, right? I'm heavily VL, and I'll openly say that, right? But the difference being is that the difference being is that we make our voices heard, whereas the Levian just shrug us off. I've been in multiple Twitter spaces. I've been on multiple YouTube streams where we're heavily Levy out. We make our opinions known. And then we'll get people criticising us, the Levy-inners, as per se, or the people that sit on the fence. They'll just criticise us, saying, "I'll stop blaming Levy, rah." But then they give absolutely no reasoning behind their decision. They just shrug us off and insult it. But whereas we, on the other hand, or I, for one, and I know that there are multiple other Levy-outers up there, we're actually open to conversation. We sit there and say, "Come on the stream, explain your reasons for being this, for thinking that." But no, we just get shrugged off.
Here's an example from the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust annual fan review. Right, this is the way they've summarised it. So I was just saying, this is literally from the Supporters Trust. 50% of season ticket holders were dissatisfied or very dissatisfied with the pricing. You could write that another way. 50% of season ticket holders were incredibly satisfied with the pricing.
Yeah, politics.
That's the sort of narrative that I'm talking about. That's the sort of
narrative they go. Yep.
Sean, part of the problem the protesters have, I believe, is demographics. If you go back 20, 30 years, right, even then, and I've been following the club for over 60, I've been watching the club for over 60 years, even then, there was about 3% of the local Haringey population was season ticket holders at Spurs. Over the years that come, Haringey is a very poor borough, and a lot of people have moved out. I don't know the pedestrian count of people that were regularly going to the old stadium, right? But it's changed. Now they're coming in for everywhere. The people that are coming to the game, that are coming from everywhere, they want to come to the game, have a beer, something to eat, watch the game, and then they want to get the hell home as quickly as possible. And I think that, now I don't know how big a problem that is, Josh, but I think it is part of the problem. Demographics is part of the problem. Also, you have to be an attractive group, right? You've got to have people that want to become part of the group. I support the protest. I don't attend any of the events, right? I've spoken to Brian personally a few times, right? But I don't go. When I go to the ground, this is my excuse if it's Lamb. I'm in the Gilpin. I'm meeting people. I'm meeting supporter Spurs groups, the Dorset Spurs. I do meet with Chris Cowling. I know them well. I've known them for over a good few years, right? I meet other people. When I go in the ground, I meet people because I run a group for over 11,000 fans, right? And I've got a fair proportion of Levy-outers in there. I've got a fair proportion of Levy-outers in my Twitter group. But I don't bring it up. I let them bring it up, like, just to see, you know, what the strength of feeling is and things like that. So I think there's a lot of things. I mean, the protest group need a proper think tank. They need to devise new ideas about how to move forward and all that. I'm sure Brian's a very intelligent guy. I'm sure he's always got ideas on the go, you know. But why is there this disconnect? Why is there this disconnect, Josh?
Can I just jump in really quickly, Sean? I've been called back to work.
I Okay,
just
mate.
a quick one to Mo, though. I haven't slammed Levy Outers. I don't know where you've got that from. I don't agree with it necessarily, but I haven't slammed them. If you listen to what I've said, I say if you are Levy out, support them. If you're not, that's different. But as somebody that, like I've said, I don't care whether Levy stays or goes. I just want to see change in the club. I want to see the same as every other Tottenham player. I want a fan. I want to see signings. I want to see positivity. Doesn't mean to say I'm slamming Levy Outers. Full stop.
I didn't want to say you were slamming Levy Outers. I'm saying the majority.
No, somebody in the comments.
Oh, right, okay. I was going to say because it's the majority of those that I encounter are those that slam the movement.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to say.
Sorry, love you, mate. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Appreciate you, mate. Love you, the piece.
Yeah, buddy.
Come on, you Spurs.
Up on Spurs.
No, I don't want to spend all night talking about I don't really care about the supporters trusting. I just gave my take on it, and we got a couple of super chats I missed out on as well. Sorry, guys, I need to get back into this.
No worries.
From Mia, we got one from Mia. Actually, it's not helpful to point fingers and call names. I want change. I love my club and want us to do well. And if we need change for that, so be it. No, for me, like I said in the video with Mia, appreciate the super chat, Mia. Very nice of you, very kind of you. I said I don't necessarily disagree with the tone, with the argument that Daniel Levy needs to, that needs to improve. 100%, I think he does. I think he's made a ton of terrible mistakes. But if you treat everything in isolation, then you can allocate them into the win column or the loss column according to their merit. And I think that's what people should do. You should always try and take yourself out of a scenario. Don't let your biases, if possible, affect your opinion, and judge things on their merit. And I don't think you can judge this window. I don't think you can judge the Harry Kane saga until we know what happens. And there's still 3 weeks to go. And the main point of my tone with the Tottenham Hotspur Supporters Trust is that they shot their load too soon. I've been there many times on a Friday night. Me and a girl at the club. You end up regretting it. Leo, how you doing, mate? Welcome from is it Colorado Spurs, isn't it, mate? How are you, mate? First time on the channel. Welcome.
Yeah, big up, Sean. Thank you for having me, bro. Yeah, so I'm Leo from Mile High Hotspur, from Denver, Colorado. Just to kind of piggyback, I won't take too long, but just kind of piggyback off what you guys were talking about. It's kind of hard for us fans over here on this side of the world to kind of have our voices heard. Like we can't really show up and protest, whether that's something you want to do or not. But as far as me being like a Levy out, like I don't try and like spread that onto people. That's just my personal opinion, and that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Everybody has their way about going about things, and some are just more vocal than others. But look, man, I don't know how much of your show I missed, but I do want to say I'm freaking pumped. I'm stoked for this season. With the little bits and pieces that we've seen of Ange ball, for me, man, is entertaining. I've been a Spurs fan since 2010, so you could imagine just how much I'm looking forward to seeing a different type of football. And man, I'm soaking it all in, and it's pretty dope to be able to go back and watch the games, man. I miss being able to watch some quality football. The last years have been just dreadful, to say the least. And yeah, man, I'm pretty pumped as to what's going on. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't hear the whole conversation on the way back from the pub. The game was at 7 this morning here, 7 a.m. this morning here. So we've been getting it going since I've been getting going since like about 6:30 when I showed up there. You know what I mean? So it's
dedication.
yeah. So. Yeah, but pretty neat. I met some new people there, some people from England, and so it's always dope to see new people come from different parts of the world. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the same effect how they have when they come over here and they see the amount of love, and the guy's like, "Yo, so like, are your family members Spurs fans?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, I chose this upon myself." He's like, "Man, you savage," because most people it's like it's kind of what you're born into, right? And over here it's a lot different. So. Yeah, it's right now, man. If you're not positive about being a Spurs fan, then I'm sorry, but this is not the club for you. Like we're definitely we're about to do some good stuff. You know what I mean? And if you're a Spurs fan right now, like hang on to your seat, because we're gonna take off, man. It's gonna be pretty dope, and I'm glad to be a part of the ride.
Yes, look at that positivity from Leo there.
Yeah,
I think there are a lot of positives. There are a lot of positives to take away as well, but there are a few little teething problems that I don't think that we can improve unless we address them.
True.
The goalkeeping situation, for example, Vicario come off of his line way too many times. He didn't look good with the ball at his feet. There were a few little mistakes made that could have led to us conceding goals. Up front, Richie didn't really cut the mustard for me today, which is why I've openly said that we need to sign a new striker as soon as possible. And obviously, the rumor mill is doing its turn, and there is a rumor going around that we have had a €30 million bid for Gift Orban accepted, which I'm hoping is the case. There needs to be one or two new transfers made. Obviously, Romero could be out for a couple of weeks yet. We yet to see if he's actually got a concussion or not. That was scary, by the way, because I didn't really like the fact that Davison Sanchez come on so early on in the game. But we need to get another centre-back as a backup because this kind of thing can happen. We need to get a new striker, and I would like to see another defensive midfielder.
It looked, that challenge, Josh, if you look at it, I think he did that deliberately, Romero. If you look at the head when he goes in for the header, I think he knew he weren't going to get the ball, and that was a little bit of a rashness because he smacks him in the back of the head, and yet he appeared to come off worse.
Yeah, it looked a bit like that, didn't it?
It's when he scored the goal. He hit it he did it with the side of his head, and he went down holding his head, and everyone was like, "Nah, there's something wrong here."
It was more on the temple area, but he scored one, so But then Ange said, "Nope, get off," because he didn't look right after it. But you got to be careful with concussions, or even just general bleeds, anything like that. A ball's pretty hard, So when he hit it that hard, it went in the net, and it didn't look right. It was like it was groggy kind of thing. But they did their job for the most part. You can't complain for an away game, and Ange ball was at its finest, in my opinion. The way he plays, aggressive. He can't do much about his attackers if they don't make the most of the chances. What can he do? It's just that's what it is.
I think a little bit of us, maybe a little part of us, were looking at the fact we were getting 32 shots on goal in the preseason, thinking that that's going to translate to the Premier League, and that's not how it's going to work out, right? We're not. The Premier League is well-oiled, well-drilled machine, and Brentford, Thomas Frank is an incredibly astute manager that can see the weaknesses, see the opportunities, and set up. And he's got a brilliant team. To me, I think most teams outside of probably City, Arsenal, and United would naturally look at Brentford and go, "I'll take a draw," right? But actually, United got spanked there last season. So for us to dominate the way we did, I think a lot of teams have sat up and take notice. I think that Erik ten Hag looked at our performance today, maybe saw some opportunities, maybe saw and goes, "Okay, that we can get them down here, get them down there." But ultimately, it makes me a little bit sad because if Harry Kane had been there today instead of Richarlison, we would have absolutely won that game. But it is what it is. Sarah Linewitz, Spurs Women. When is the next protest, Sean? What is wrong with that lot? Listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that lot at all. I'm not saying that. I actually support everyone who wants to protest. I know people think that I'm massively against the unique out. I'm not at all. The Levy Out guys, I support you. You guys have got to make your voices heard. I think as individuals, my whole point about the trust is that they're not supposed to represent their own feelings. They're supposed to do it as a representation of the fan base, and I don't think they are currently. But as individuals, anyone who's ENIC out, anyone who's Levy out, do what you want to do. Go, if you've got a channel, scream it from the rooftops. If you like the channels that do that, have at it. And for what it's worth, I won't personally be at the protest. I think someone would probably punch me in the face. But for what it's worth, I'll be
too far for me, mate. I'm in Australia, let alone being punched.
No, but I genuinely want everyone who wants to support those protests to go. So against Manchester United, there's two protests. I think there's the one that the trust operate in, which is a little bit further down the high road, and then there's the one that the Levy Out boys operate, which is across the road from the shop.
They're working either side of each other. So you have
they're working either side of each other, right?
You have the Levy and ENIC Out movement protest first, and then that stops, and then they join they're joining the Supporters Trust one afterwards.
Perfect. Great. Okay. I want them all to do what they want to do. If that's what you feel, if that's how you feel, represent your feelings. We live in a democracy. I support you, and I wish you well with your mission. I just don't choose to share that. I don't personally share the same apathy or ire towards the ownership. But if you do, get on board it, and I would expect, and I actually I demand that you raise your voices in that regard, because that's what you're supposed to do if you feel that bad about the ownership. I just don't personally feel that way. Guys, we're going to round off in the next 5 minutes. So kind of want to get your final thoughts. Kate, you want something to say?
Well, no, I was just going to say, Josh just mentioned about Vicario. I think he gets a bad rap. I thought he held his own today. Yeah, he comes off his line, but he was quick to come off his line and clear when there was danger. I just seem to find that the fans are just waiting to jump on him, waiting for him to slip up so they can jump on him. And I think it's so unfair. I don't think he'd done anything wrong today. Yeah, okay, maybe there was a couple of times when I thought, oh, God, he's come out. But he was in control. I don't think it's fair that the narrative around him at the minute. That was all I wanted to say.
Got a good throw on him, Kate. You see him throw the ball the halfway line?
Yeah.
I like that was a long ball, man.
Yeah, and I like that. Because it's more,
that was basically his way of saying, get the F up there. Here, grab the ball, go. That was like a counter-attack goal keep throw. It was like, and they didn't do anything with it. It was like, what the heck? So
I thought he had a decent game, to be fair on him.
That was quality. I've never seen a goalkeeper throw over the halfway line ever in my whole entire life watching soccer, football, whatever. That's incredible.
I'm going to jump off anyway.
The whole Vicario situation for me, it just smells like Galini 2.0. It genuinely does. Why is he running? Why is he running halfway up the pitch when you've got two defenders marking their man? There's no point.
You're judging him, but he hasn't made a mistake. He hasn't done anything. You're just saying it feels like. No, I don't agree.
Yeah,
you're waiting.
It's still too
I think it's because he was given the task.
I've said this as well. Let's have this conversation again in 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and then we've got an accurate representation of how we feel about him.
I agree.
I think it's because he's been tasked with a sweeper keeper role because of our shocking defence prior. Sorry, but I think that's the job Ange has given him because he did it with Matty Ryan for the international Australian side. So he loves his sweeper keepers. Yes, he goes in a bit crazy and maybe a little bit rash, but I think that's the way he's chosen to play. So
yeah,
because Acton is our fifth defender per se. A bit premature running out, obviously, but he helped keep us in the game. So
Ange picks the team, watches them in training. We can all admit that the front three were ineffective today. We've had talk about Skip, right? And it's justified. And we talk about the front three being ineffective, and that was justified as well. But Ange picked them for a reason in training, So, and like you rightly said, Josh, you don't, we'll change the front three, and every time something doesn't quite work on the field, you change it, keep changing it. You need to get that side settled down and bedded in. Very impressed with the defence, though. Very impressed because, to come in on a first game with so much new blood, and
it was a nervy start, though, mate. I was going to heart attack in the first 10 minutes. Got to be honest, the first 10 minutes, I was like, I can't handle this. Can't do this anymore. And we're 10 minutes into the first game of the season.
Yeah, but we were 1-0 up first, so it worked. And then obviously the cheap pen. I'm not going to comment about the ref, but
they settled down and they didn't fold when we were 2-1 down. So that's
exactly.
And also too, I would just, I mean, I know you're trying to close things off, Sean, so I'll just be brief. This was a perfect opponent to come against, for the first game. Brentford last year were a strong side. They had a couple of players leave them this offseason, but it was still a good enough. It was a good matchup for our first, to kind of gauge where we're at. So I'm glad, the mistakes that we did make, we made them early. Vicario, like some guys alluded to, did look a little shaky at the beginning. It's his first Premier League game. We still have so much football ahead of us to be able to judge these guys. And so I think for a first game, it was definitely a good. I mean, we're still undefeated. The triple is still on, and
yeah.
A
draw is better than a loss.
But look, guys, it was a good opponent. Brentford were a good opponent. They've lost players. They're still a strong team, and it's kind of we're kind of gauging where we're at. It'd have been better to face United after seeing Brentford instead of seeing Brentford after facing United, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Interesting comment just made, and it actually matches up. Gary Beck's 559 gift or ban has been left out of the matchday squad. He was left out of the squad today
for the second day running. He was left out last time as well.
He might be coming over to the Spurs.
He's coming. He's coming. But listen, I love this guy. I absolutely adore this guy. I've been following him all last season because I use the Y Scout tool. I'm always checking out to see whose stats are just insane. This guy and El Yawahi, the fella from Montpellier, these two cropped up on my radar. I followed them. They're both different types of players. I like Gift Orban, but I'm not saying it's a big but it's worth pointing out. His stats are phenomenal against, like it's about farmers leagues. He went from the Norwegian second division to the Norwegian Premier League to the Belgium league. Phenomenal guy. I think he's got it in him. But if we expecting him to come in and just smash it against Manchester United or smash it against, like, there's a different level of defense, different level of players that he's going to play against. I think he's got it. I think that 25, 30 million is a fair, reasonable price for a guy that could become the next whatever. But again, if we come in,
always backs youngsters, and I think if he's brought over, I think he'll be given plenty of chances. Ange loves, the shine and the young youth team. So a Gift Orban with the name of Gift, I mean, it can't be worse than what we got, right? So I think he'll be okay.
Just remember, Erling Haaland started in the Austrian league. Let's just throw that out there.
No, listen, I mean, there's plenty of everyone starts somewhere. Like most players don't start in, like Wayne Rooney did, doing it against Everton and then going on to like that doesn't happen often. Like everyone starts somewhere. This guy, Gift Orban, wasn't playing football. Big up on your bike, Scott. We are doing it again. Appreciate you, mate. Appreciate it. Gift Orban only started playing football when he was 18.
Yeah.
And 21. You can reel off good players that have come from the Belgian league, can't you? You can reel them off. Company, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Eden Hazard. The list goes on and on and on. How many good? You don't know what you're going to get, though. You don't know what you're going to get from, like you say, will be marked tightly if he comes. I think for 30 mil, you've got to start taking a risk on these younger players. If they were winning 40 or 50, you go for an established striker like Vlahovic, or you pay 60, whatever it is.
Look, it could have been, guys, we're going to round off. It could have been, given what happened with Harry Kane, given the disruption, given all these things, the fact that, Harry Kane played 90 minutes again, like we played him in our A team throughout the preseason, as much as Ange Postecoglou was probably singing from the club hymn sheet saying, we always knew this was going to happen. You can't imagine that there's been no disruption and it was entirely accepted. I thought today Tottenham were absolutely bang on. They overachieved for me. I would have loved the win. I think that the win could have happened if we, maybe done a little bit more in the final third. But for me, massive optimism, massive high hopes. Final
86% possession at one point, mate. So
mate, exactly, mate, exactly. Right, we've got 2 minutes, guys. Sort of 10 seconds. Last words. And if you've got a channel, where can people find you? We'll start at the top and walk round. Final word, like literally a sentence, and then your channel, and we're gonna kick off. And then I'm gonna hand you over, guys, to the wonderful Alan Clark at Time Added On. And if you guys are still watching, just stay. When this channel ends, we're gonna literally redirect you straight over to Alan, who's starting his show now. Kate, final thought, and where can people find you?
Final thought is the future's bright. All looks good. I'm just a girl who loves Spurs. So come on over and sub, please. I'm just trying to get to 400 now. So yeah, come on over.
Amazing. Thank you, Kate. You've been excellent as always. Dan, do you have a channel, mate?
I'm just a viewer from Australia who love you guys, and I love Ange, and I'm here for Ange and Inwin Trust. So I have no show or channel, but I'm here. So
thanks,
nice to meet you all.
Come on again. We'll get you on for the. Well, I'm not around for the Man United
game, mate. Sure.
The game after, but the next away game. Come on. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, Adrian. Where can people find you, mate? Final thought.
Find me on my Twitter name here, and then you'll see a link to my Facebook group page. I've got 11,500 Spurs fans on there. So, and we are a multicultural mix from all around the planet.
Sensational stuff. Adrian Strokers, where you can find him on Twitter, and on Twitter you'll find his link to his Facebook page. Appreciate you, Adrian. Second time on the show in as many days, mate, and you smashed it just like Kate and Dan and Josh. Mate, what's going on with you? Final thought, and where can people find you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. It's a process. We need to believe in the process. Let's have a conversation in 6 to 8 weeks and see where we still see if we still going down believe in this system. But I think we will do. You can find me over at Speaking Spurs. I'm just slowly getting back into
content
into streaming. Yeah, back into content pretty much. You can also send me over on Twitter at Josh Pav. I do a lot of Twitter spaces. I get involved in a lot of Twitter spaces. You can interact with me over there as well. But thanks for having me on, Sean.
Appreciate you, Josh. Well done, mate. And say hello to that baby in the background, mate. She sounds like she or he
That's
is.
She's climbing on me. She's sitting on me Mrs. Lap at the minute.
Oh, nice. All right, mate. Oh, nice one. And Leo, mate, wonderful. Is this your debut on the show?
Believe it is, my homie. I believe it is.
Congratulations.
Yeah, second division on. Yeah.
People in the comments absolutely loving you, buddy. Saying you've done a brilliant, making some brilliant comments. Where can people find you, Leo? And what's your last take?
For sure. My last take is I'm stoked to see what's going on. I'm very optimistic and I have a positive outlook on what's going on. So I have a lot of faith in what's going on at our club, you guys. As far as where people can find me is I'm getting in the groove of streaming again at Mile High Hotspur on YouTube. And whoever wants to come on, you're more than welcome to. Sean, I appreciate letting me come on, bro. And as always, man, I love watching the content, brother. And what's up to everybody in the chat, the panel? Kate, hope you're good. I hope we're all good.
Appreciate you, mate. Well done, Leo. Well done, everybody. I want to say thank you to the guys that were on earlier. There's been so many today. I'm going to forget them all, so I'm not going to say any of them, but every one of them, welcome back anytime. You guys as well. Nigel C with the closing out super chat of the evening. I really appreciate you guys in the comment section. Great panel tonight. Good chat. Come on, you Spurs. It's been a good day, guys. It's been a good day. Lots to learn, lots to improve on, but so many positives. I'm going to hand you over to the wonderful Alan Clark at Time Added On, so stay right there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and I will. If you want to come back in 2 minutes and check into the stream, you're going to get all of these guys in the descriptions, all of their links. I'm going to go and get that done now. Like, subscribe, and comment, guys. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks, Sean.